Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Dental Voice on the Case with Xyrus. My name is Rolando Mia, and we're here today with a very special guest who's going to share some really cool information with us. So the purpose of Dental Voice on the Case is to understand things, experiences that clinicians have on a day-to-day basis. Today, Mia Cassell, who is an RDH, she is also the executive director of CREAT, the Center for Research and Education Technology. She's going to share with us her experience implementing something new in her dental hygiene practice. Well, in this case, it's the Isolite system. However, there's some really cool things here, and really excited that Mia is willing to do this with us and share. Good morning, Mia. How are you?
Great. On the East Coast, we're in the afternoon. So good afternoon, good morning. Thank you, everybody that had joined in for this today. I really appreciate you being here.
Oh, this is fantastic. First of all, how are you doing, and how is everything?
Everything's been going well. Yep, no complaints here. And you?
Oh, very well. Thank you. So I'm especially interested, and I'm really excited to understand some of the things that you ran into. And what I very much appreciate is you taking the time to kind of document this and share your experience with us. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to share a screen here. And what it's going to show is what's really cool is what you're doing. So I'm going to hand it to you, and you can kind of take us through what's going on.
Great. Thanks, Rolando. So you can see the image here is actually our practice that I work at, Mystic Dental Group. I've been there since 2014, and I work with Dr. Kuzmic and Dr. West. And then we have our team on the next image here. So a diverse experience from all these lovely ladies here. Love working with them. In the back left corner, we have Cheryl. She's been a hygienist at our office for more than 30 years. Previously had not used the Isolite, but watched the video. She liked the concept of it, tried it out. Felt like at first a little bit awkward for placement, but she thinks the more consistency and the more you try to place it, the better you get with that placement. So I really appreciate her trying that out. Next to her, we have Sam, one of our dental assistants. Then we have Pat, our office manager. She is going to be retiring and moving south. So we do have Krista, who's joined our team as our office manager. She's not in the image. Next to Pat is Ashley, another hygienist. She just had her son on Monday, so very excited for her.
Congratulations, right on.
Yes. Then there is me. So I had not previously used the system, but I heard really great things about it from student feedback at the universities and was excited to try this opportunity. Next to me is Barb. She's an assistant. She worked at an office, and they use the Isolite for about 2.5, 3 years. The ladies in the middle we have here is Karen, Kristen, and Julie. Karen's no longer with us, but Kristen and Julie handle front desk, and Vicky has joined our team with the front desk as well. And in the front, we have Kim on the lower left. She's a hygienist we'll hear more from in a little bit. Then we have Bianca and Danielle, and 2 other assistants, Nellie and Erin, are not in the photo as well, but great team. Love working with them. And it's nice that we had the opportunity to see ISO Dry, ISO Vac, and Isolite. We had all 3 different experiences between the collective of us, so that was wonderful.
Wow. And had you not been using it in the practice at all?
No, so we hadn't. And we were using this Shieldback. So I believe it's the next one. Yes. Pre-pandemic training, we would all have the team together, try it out on each other. We came back when we had a shutdown, and we're only seeing emergency patients. So when we were first seeing patients last June, no polishing, no ultrasonic, only hand scale. Then in July, we got this device, which you see in the image. It has the high-speed suction attached to the shield. You can see on the shield, there's some water droplets. It definitely helps reduce the aerosols. So my practice has been great about making sure everyone is as safe as possible and doing what they can to reduce those aerosols in light of the pandemic. The Shieldback was great because now we can polish and ultrasonic. We're like, woo, great. And the thing is, there's times I would hit my face shield into that shield. Of course, the patients think that's hilarious, but it was definitely a learning experience. So I was really happy to be able to try the Isolite, the ISO Vac rather. It eliminates those aerosols right at the source, and I'm not bumping my face shield around anymore. So that's been exciting too.
Cool.
Yeah. So here's one of my operatories. I alternate between 2 treatment rooms, and here's my suction setup initially. Rolando and I did a training on a Zoom, and it was on a Thursday. Come into the office, very excited. I'm like, great, can't wait to try it out. You can see in the next one, plug it right in. I don't need an attachment at all. It's just ready to go. And I'm thinking, this is kind of cumbersome. Now I have one lever on the bottom to turn on, and then the Isolite one. So that was interesting. It fit on my bracket table, which you see in the next image. I thought, great, we're good to go here. So ended up talking with Rolando to realize that I don't need to be contending with 3 levers here. And you can see it's connected properly here, which made a big difference. The head was able to swivel around much easier, and I didn't have all those levers to have to turn on one and then the other and then all off. So that was certainly a learning experience.
It still worked for you in the other, but
It
this,
did.
yeah, and that was just kind of that kind of thing. When did you realize that it was kind of messed up? Is that when we talked?
Yes. So we stick it with all the levers on.
Cool.
So then I came into this situation where now it can work properly, but I can't fit it on my holder without the nose of the suction. So,
yeah.
Yep. So that has the plug on top. So when I have the ISO dry off of it, so the open suction line is not just sitting there in the room making a bunch of noise. So Dr. Kuznick's awesome. He took measurements. He's able to do some retrofitting to make it fit properly. So I don't have an image of that yet, but another thing we learned is, you may need to do a little retrofitting and make things work.
Oh, wow.
Another learning experience I had was debridement. So did a full mouth debridement, used the system, loved it. After I stopped using the ultrasonic hand scale, the patient was tightening the lip and cheek significantly. It was a struggle. And I was very impressed with how much it reduced that sensation the patient kept having to clamp down because they're resting the jaw right on the bite block. So I thought that was a great benefit. Sam, one of our assistants, fabulous. All of our assistants are incredible. I'm grateful to have their help with hygiene. Is the first time she was taking apart the mouthpiece, and I'm on the computer doing my chart notes after my debridement. She's very close to my right. The mouthpiece comes off, and here comes some fluid right on my temple, and I thought, did it get in my eyes? Of course, she was very apologetic. I'm like, I need the alcohol wipe gauze. So I would highly recommend that you practice a few times until you get comfortable taking apart, putting the mouthpiece on, and not being very close proximity to another when disassembling it. So,
Wow.
Good opportunity there. And here's another thing we ran into. Putting it together, you can see on the image on the left, there was a gap. So I hear in my room this hissing sound. Of course, I'm checking, is my slow speed on? What is making this noise? It was very annoying. And then once I was messing around with this and pressed those levers in more firmly, you can see that that gap has gone away. The hissing sound went away. So I thought that was something I wanted to highlight because, yeah, it seemed like it was put together, but I didn't quite have it all the way. So that explained the noise.
This is awesome.
So my name is Kim Herman. I've been a hygienist for 17 years. I had experience with the ISO dry for about 8 months or so at a previous office, and I really liked it.
Kim's awesome. She shared some great feedback with me. She really likes the Isolite for the isolation, retraction, big benefit with the bite block to rest the jaw. Very rarely would she have patients tell her, oh, there's water pooling in the back of the mouth. So the suction at the back of the bite block really helps significantly to reduce any extra fluid hanging around the mouth. For the most part, she would use it on about 80% of patients she had seen. I asked, what patients wouldn't you use this on? Because it can't be for everybody. So if a patient would struggle with bite wings, had a really strong, active, enlarged tongue, that would make it much more challenging. So she wouldn't necessarily use it for them. And it took about a month for her to get really comfortable with doing the placement. She did self-training. She was the only hygienist in the office at the time. So it took a little bit of learning experience to get to the point where she was really efficient with it.
So because she had used it, she was able to help you during the implementation. So you were that's kind of cool that she had that. And
it was incredible. I'm like, am I placing this right? Because how am I supposed to know? I didn't have Rolando right there in the room. And Tim's like, yeah, it looks great, and we tried it out on each other, which was really nice.
That is cool. Okay, so whoops, let's go here.
All right. So this is an opportunity I got in the chair. Kim was most experienced, so I said, do you mind using it on me so I can see what it's like? So we have a little clip here of the use.
Okay, I think that's coming up.
Soon. So you can see the placement looks really great.
How did it feel for you?
A lot more comfortable than I thought. I really thought the tongue retractor would push down more and make it feel like uncomfortable, but I was biting a little hard thinking I have to hold it in place. But once I kind of relaxed a little bit, I was like, oh, this is pretty comfortable. Okay. It was surprisingly more comfortable than I realized it would be.
When you first saw the unit and she was about to place it in your mouth, what was kind of going through your head?
Thinking, how's she going to get that in there? But I was fully confident she knew what she was doing. So I was definitely excited that I had the opportunity to see it from a patient perspective. And I felt like it could be placed a little bit more further back with it still being comfortable.
And once it was inside, did it feel odd for you? I mean, what was there? You'd never had it in your mouth before, is that correct?
No. I did think it would feel like it was brushing along the cheek, or I'd feel something more on the outside of the mouth, but that wasn't the case. It was surprisingly comfortable, just like having a little bite block in there. And I really didn't notice the tongue retraction that much. I could move the tongue around if I felt like I want to try to move water more towards the saliva ejector in the back there. And it was fine. I could move the tongue very easily without a problem.
And you could breathe and you could do all that type of stuff. It didn't make you feel funky. Awesome.
Yeah.
And
I do like it does reduce fogging when you're using the mirror in there. I thought that was a pretty helpful thing and help with ergonomics too, because I could see easier in my mirror and not have to try to lean around and use the direct vision.
I love the fact that you actually let them place it in you and actually do a procedure on you. There you go. Right on. So I believe this is, here you go. So take us through what's going on in here. I'm going to go start it.
So Kim's discussing, about the device, and we're going to use this. Just try it out, see how it feels, and go ahead and, if you can, just pause it. And just right there is great. If you can see just by the
right
levers, I didn't notice it when we were doing it or the first 2 times I watched the video, but now I can see the levers were actually on the inside of the IsoDry. It still worked just fine, but it's easier to use when the lever's on the other side of it in the correct position. So, it's just one of those learning experiences.
That's cool. Wow. That's pretty cool. So cleaning it is important, it sounds like.
Yes. And you can see how she folds it, perfect placement. She puts it in from a side to side type of movement instead of just going right into the back of the throat, which might make someone feel a little gag reflex happening. So really great placement there.
That looked really comfortable.
Yeah, she adjusted the lips so it felt comfortable. It wasn't sticking on the side of my cheek. And then out of habit, you can see here she gets the ultrasonic ready to go and has the slow speed suction. And it's one of those habit things. She's been in her office for about 6 months. It does take a little bit of time to break habits, and I did the same exact thing. I put it in there. I grabbed my slow speed. I'm like, I don't need you. Like hands-free suction, continuous. So she just gets right to work. Very comfortable. I didn't get any of that extra spray on the outside of the mouth that I would normally experience. So I thought that was pretty pleasant.
What was it like being able to use both hands? Was it kind of odd?
I'm thinking, where's my slow speed? Where's my slow speed? But it's nice to just have that mirror and the ultrasonic and not have to worry about juggling that slow speed in there. And then her technique here of using the slow speed to take it out and get any extra saliva, because sometimes patients with that stringy type of saliva may have it coming out with their, puts the slow speed back, and then she goes ahead to place to the other side of the mouth. You can see that placement's very nicely done as well here.
Did you notice a difference when she placed it one side versus the other, or not really?
It felt equally comfortable. No, I don't remember anything notable on that.
Yeah, her placement technique is wonderful. That's awesome.
And then again, here comes a learning experience with habits. And sometimes, you get into that routine, you're going, and it's like, here we go, don't really need you anymore. And she can get that mirror in there and make it easier for, retracting the cheek a little bit more to see. And it was a good experience. I'm really glad we only had a small gap right before lunchtime to pop in the chair and try it.
Now, what did you experience in using it? What did you or your team experience? What are some of the things that you saw or discovered about it?
I love it for SRPs when sometimes I would need 70 or 90 minutes. I don't need that much time anymore. I feel like I can complete really good treatment in about, an hour, a little less, depending on if it's a selective or quad. I find it worked well for debridement, patients that are tough with the cheek and lip, that really want to restrict your access. Heavy stain patients, sometimes we would need to schedule an extra 10 minutes to get them in to remove all that heavy stain. And I find you can just polish easily and not have to keep stopping and rinsing and letting them take a little break to rest their jaw and get that saliva pooling in the mouth out. I mean, it's a big time saver in that regard. I don't think I would really need to use it for someone that had very, very light buildup. I probably wouldn't try it on somebody that was a gagger. I feel like I would aggravate that sensation, but for the most part, it was much more comfortable, and I think a lot of patients could have benefit. TMJ patients, those that need the bite block to rest the jaw, it's great for that too.
Awesome. We have a comment here from Megan. You touched on this. Does it make the cleanings faster, more efficient, in your opinion?
Hi, Megan. Thanks for joining. Great question. It absolutely does make it much more efficient. I don't have to waste a lot of time with extra rinsing and having the tongue out of the way and the cheek out of the way. It's much easier for retracting. So I'm not spending as much time with my mirror getting that tongue out of the way. It's just access is much easier. I can do upper and lower quadrant, same side, and it's an easier thing to do. It's nice because now I get a little break for a drink of water and instead of almost running behind.
So from what are some of the things that you experienced or learnings, we're going to call them learnings, that you would, kind of share with our audience about what you have to kind of deal with it?
Well, it's getting comfortable with placement, and it comes down to just trying it, getting out of that comfort zone a little bit and giving it a go. I initially, when I had it, I didn't know, should I kind of not show the patient how big this retraction thing is, or once they had seen it and thought, okay, we'll try it out. If I don't like it, no problem. It made it easier for the patient acceptance and to feel comfortable with it.
Oh, so cool. So if you were to provide the top 3, pieces of advice for people who are watching when they're either using this system or implementing something, what would those top 3 things be?
Well, of course, the training is extremely important. Just trying it out, see what works, and getting comfortable with it is a big thing. And trying it on yourself, so the patient's perspective. It helps to explain it to them, and that helps with patients feeling more comfortable with it.
Wow. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that you kind of showed us, here are the things that we did. Here's what we needed to overcome. Now, if I may, you are the executive director for CREET, the Center for Research and Education Technology. Could you just take a second to explain what is that?
So we work with about 30 companies and collaborate with the dental universities. An Innovation Center Award is given out to the university where we help to introduce new technology. So with our student feedback, we have a forum, and that's where I initially heard about this. They said, I can't imagine doing a crown prep without this, and I can't practice without the Isolite anymore. And it was like, wow, this thing's really great. I want to know about it more for hygiene and try it.
That is so awesome. If people had questions for you or wanted to reach out to you, what would be the best way for them to ask you questions?
You can email me directly. So MIACASSELL, the number 1 at gmail.com. And you can go to CRETDENTAL.org, Crete Dental. So if you want to learn more about our company, you can.
Awesome. And if people wanted to know more about your practice, what would be the best way for them to find that?
Of course, yes, mysticdentalgroup.com. They have a beautiful website. And I would like to give a big thanks to my doctors for letting me first off try this out, retrofitting the room and helping me out and letting the team experience using this technology. They've been wonderful. Thanks to my team for doing it. And Rolando, thanks for putting this together and the opportunity to share my experience with everybody. And of course, I appreciate you all that had joined for this and that watched the video in the future.
Who's Joan?
Hi, that's my Grammy.
Oh,
Thanks for joining, Grammy.
right on. Oh, Grammys are awesome. Well, first of all, thank you so much, Mia. Thank you for sharing with us. Hey, folks, excuse me. If you like this content, please share it. If you have questions for Mia or would like to kind of pick her brain around the other learnings that she has, please reach out to her. If you have questions for us or would like to see things, hygiene and using our system in there has been a big question. Please reach out to us, and we're happy to do that. Mia, first of all, thank you so much. It's great to see you. Really appreciate you putting this together and being so open and sharing. Please, regards to your team, and thank them from us. And we look forward to hearing more from you. Would you like to join us maybe later at some point and say hi?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh, one more. There you go.
Thanks, Megan.
All right. Take care, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you all.